Welcome to my view of the stock market. It's a daily review from Tuesday, November 11th. It's Veterans Day. The stock market should really be closed on Veterans Day, but that's a decision made above my pay grade. The Nasdaq today fell, 58 points or a quarter of a percent on the volume, super light volume. The bond market was closed, the banks were closed, the schools were closed. Saw the kids playing in the playground. Reminded me of recess back when I was a principal. The kids playing in the playgrounds. A therapeutic sound. Anyway, the Nasdaq was down on super light volume. I mean, the bond market was closed. Like I said, just about everything was closed except for the stock market today in order to honor the veterans. On Friday, we had this pullback to the 50. Yesterday, we had a gap up and it was up, I don't know, 522 points, 2.27%. We get back a quarter of a percent today. Just a blip on the radar, still supported there above the 5, 0.3% above the 5, 1% above the 21. And 3.2% above the 50. So nice move yesterday. Barely any give back today. I do want to point out on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, somebody was asking me my prediction on year end. I don't do predictions. I have no idea. I would imagine once it gets above the 48,040 level and breaks above that nicely, I think, 49 obviously would be in play, then 50,000. So I think he just wants to have some cocktail information to compress his friends. Not an index I follow closely at all. All right. I just had to share that. I have no idea what the Dow's going to do the rest of the year. I think it's going higher. I think the Nasdaq's going higher, but not going to go up every day. The Dow had a nice day today, so congrats to those who are, in those Dow stocks. Anyway, I want to get to, first of all, the Mag 7 when, the index, I say when the index goes down a quarter percent, you can expect these stocks to be down. But Apple was up quite a bit today. Nice move up more than 2%. Apple's looking good here. And you got to take a look at the weekly chart here. This is just breaking out of a base. And it's not going to blast out of a base like a biotech stock. It's going to push away like a snail and just gradually move away from that buy point there around the 258 area. So that was one stock that was up in the Dow. Google's not in the Dow, but it was up as well. Microsoft, I'm just going through the Mag 7 here, up barely, half a percent. That one is in the Dow. Amazon is in the Dow, and it was up, okay, quarter percent, not bad. Meta is not in the Dow, and it's just Meta's in a real bummer here, below the 200. That's an avoid. And then Tesla pulled back to its 50 on Friday, just like the index. Had a nice day yesterday. $15 move at 3.6%. Just gave a little back today, 1.25%. Tesla looks fine. And then, of course, NVIDIA, the whole day started off with SoftBank saying they sold all of their NVIDIA position. Big deal. It was just, I guess, an excuse to take profits in the AI stocks. And that's what happened today. Just a rotation out of the artificial intelligence. And I mean, just like anything associated with AI was sold today. And that's fine. We need, rotation to have a healthy uptrend. So NVIDIA gave back, less than 3% today. On that news, we had some earnings reports. CoreWeave, to me, CoreWeave is always, when it was doing this, I was modeling the eBay, from 99 analysis, right? Precedent analysis. I thought it could have been an eBay, but once it sliced its moving averages, the game changed. I started doing some research on this, and then when the Core Scientific deal went through, Core went down 9 billion market cap, and it just went down, 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 and then now they rebuffed CoreWeave's overtures, and the stock's been going up. Well, until today or this week, you can see now it's sliced its 50, but that kind of gave me a red flag here on CoreWeave. There's something wrong with CoreWeave. I don't know what it is, can't put my finger on it, but I just know from instincts to stay away. Obviously now, but it's below the 50. But yeah, there's something going on there that I don't really care for. Nebius reported this morning, and not they missed on revenues. And I always say you can fudge the earnings, but you can't fudge the sales. They have strong sales growth, but they were short of analyst estimates. Um, what else can I say about Nebius? Oh, they keep diluting shares. They did a 10% dilution here, so. That's another thing that bugs me when companies continue to go back and dilute their stock, not shareholder-friendly companies. So, yeah, out of those two, it's pretty hard for me to, get real enthusiastic about either one. Sorry, I'm just trying to be honest here. The other group that, there's the energy play, which the data centers, the whole AI thing does not happen without energy. So I'm embracing pullbacks here. If Bloom Energy wants to pull back, like it did here, these are buying opportunities. This little wedge here is a buy. Once again, back to the 21 is a buy. If it wants to come down to the 21, yeah, I'm all for it because Bloom Energy is going to be a leader in this group, and they've got the fundamentals, and I think this is one to really watch for on pullbacks. Obviously, if you own it, you don't want to see this thing go, what was it from 145 down to 125 in a day? Yesterday it was up 147, today the low is 125. So, hey, you don't want to see that if you own it. But if you're looking to get in, you're looking at a pullback to one of these moving averages. And just all of the energy names are weak. And this is not going to be this way forever. But for today and recently, these have been selling off. Anything related to the data center, that's Vistra Energy. Mm. Even the mighty Talon now is below the 50. And data center related plays, Vertiv, pulling back to the 21 here. Not the end of the world, but there's just been a little bit of weakness or a little rotation. Recently. All right. So, oh, the other one is these ones have been, they reported earnings and just sold off. Last week, Iris Energy reported earnings, sold off every day since. Obviously, buy the rumor, sell the news. This is $5 here, last spring and even into the summer here, under $10 and it hit 74 recently and 76 last week, and now it's selling off a little bit. So buy the rumor, sell the news. Same with CIFR mining, same thing. These are power plays. Now under the 21, HUT. Yeah, this one pulled back to the 21, bounced a little bit down 7% today. I think Riot, the same thing. Yeah, this one's been selling off. So just a rotation. They've had big gains for a long time. But all right, enough of the negative stuff. I've got to get to the positive stuff. I took you down the negative road. Now we're going to bring you back on the positive path. And just looking at a lot of biotechs, you can get your pencils out and your paper and start writing some of these tickers down because I think that the biotechs could be the play from starting now and into 2026 to extend this bull market. You know what? I'm going to start with actually XBI because I just want to show you how long it looks like, okay, it's going up, it's having a nice time. But if we take a look back, it's been in a it's been in a slump for a long, long, long time. And if I go to the monthly, you can go to 2021 when that bear market started, November of 21, I believe. This is okay, February of 21, and it was 174 at that time. It's been selling off since February of 21. You can say right here, it's still within this base here at what, 115 from January of 2022. So you're looking at, nearly like 4 years of like absolutely doing nothing, right? So yeah, so it had a little nice run recently, but to me, this is just all one big base and hasn't even broken out of it yet. And so I'm looking forward to the drug stocks doing well and maybe getting back to that 180 area. So in the XBI. Anyway, I wanted to point out MDGL because these since Pfizer bought Metsera, there's been a lot of M&A, first of all, in biotech land, a lot of it recently. And the weight loss drug is starting to heat up a little bit. Madrigal has a player in that group. It's been a strong stock for a long time. I think you have to look at the weekly here. As it went sideways and consolidated here, you can see this consolidation pattern, a stage one base here with a 24-week cup-shaped pattern. Tried to break out and then pulled back underneath its 10-week line. And now, the last 2 weeks has exploded higher. And I think this is just a start of a move higher for not only Madrigal, but a lot of these biotech stocks. Last week it was up 17%, and this week up another 11 in the first 2 days of the week. So this is definitely one to watch. You can see the 5 EMA has rallied through the 50, and the 21 now has rallied through the 50. So this is the start of a trend here as the moving averages are stacked, the 5, the 21, the 50, and the 200. I like that one a lot. It's a little extended up here right now after the big move here, but wait till that 5 catches up. Looks like it bounced off the 5 today. Exactly. You know what? I want to take a look at the 5-minute chart here. Yeah, yeah, just this thing's been super strong. Yesterday, gapped up and kind of went sideways for a little bit. Today, all day long, just buyers and buyers and buyers. So yeah, it's a little extended from that. Um, yeah, from the 5, 8.5% above the 5. So let it catch up for a day or two, maybe an inside day or something. But super strong stock. I like this one a lot. Speaking of the weight loss drugs, Viking is another one that I like. This one's got this cup with handle pattern. You could see that 3680 is your standard buy point. Pulled back to the 21 on Friday, bounced on Monday, and a nice another bounce today of what, 7.5%. I know some people at MC Stock Charts who got into this one. Did I? No, not yet. I don't know what I'm waiting for. I want drug stocks, I want oil stocks, and I want gold stocks. And this is one that I want, and I didn't buy it. I don't know why. I don't know. I just I'm biding my time. I'll buy it soon, though, probably, because it's very good chance that speculation is that they're going to get taken out. Cytokinetics is another one, super strong name, making a new high today. Undercut the 21, rally back up, pulled back to the 21, and now spiked 7% today, and then 10.5% on the week. So another nice biotech, and I'm telling you, I'm going to be going through these. So. A couple popular names, big mega, not mega cap, but large cap tech stocks, 218 billion market cap. NVO up 7% today. On Alzheimer's news, you think of weight loss and diabetes, and now I guess their drugs are good for Alzheimer's, which is a really nasty disease. Eli Lilly, I thought I was going to hit 1,000 today. I was having a bet with my buddy, and it hit 9,995, but I wouldn't give it to him. Nope, that's not 1,000. That's 9,950, right? Got to be technical here. Yeah, 9,995. How about that? It's a 5 cents short. Yeah, that's like when you have like a 2-inch putt, you don't give it to your buddy, so you got to put that in. So it's not 1,000 yet, not officially, but it'll get there. All right. Lily's been super strong. And there's, uh, well, they bought a company recently and they had a phase two trial data that was positive. So Lily's got a lot of momentum behind it. Had it on the ready list last week. I took it off. It got a little too extended, but you can see it does have that buy point there. Teva, this one gapped up on earnings. This is one that I had on my video last weekend, I believe. Didn't even allow the 5 to catch up here. Pull back 2 days. You can see that move down 0.5%, 2%. And then now it wants to resume to a new high. So Teva looks good. V, I don't even know what some of these do. I'm just writing these ticker symbols down. VTYX, and then I research them later. Buy first and research later. This one capped up, and now it's surfing its 5. You can see this biotech group now is a top 5 group. So, you got to pay attention to that. This is a micro cap stock, 672 million, but, broke out of this base cleanly, with this gap higher. That looks great. Um, who else do we have here? I have so many of those. GlaxoSmithKline, this is another large cap. UK-based pharmaceutical, 100 billion market cap, making new highs today. Super strong. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the drug stocks are doing it for me. They really are. This one I had on my ready list last week, pulled back to its 21, and now spiked. Of course, when I had it on my ready list, it came down to the 21. Now I took it off. It blasted new highs. That's life in the big city. But yeah, what was this? 1772. I don't think that's a new high. Yeah, it was 1787, so 5 cents off of a new high here. But definitely strong, showing support at the 21 since the breakout of the base there. It's just a lot of strong names here. Of course, the one that I like a lot that I may own is INSM, surfing the five, doing nothing wrong, just quietly grinding higher. Another one that I really like, I'm thinking of buying here is ATEC. This is not a biotech stock, it's a medical product stock, but they have a moat in spinal surgeries. And I don't know, maybe with the boomer generation getting older, there's more surgeries being done, possibly. I don't know, but all I know technically is it broke out of a base and made a new high, then pulled back to the five, then made a new high, then pulled back to the five and made a new high, and it keeps making new highs. So, like I said, when you own a stock and it's above the five and the five's, rising that rapidly, you don't have to hold it very long to be making money. They'd be profitable. So, as a trend trader, that's kind of, what your goal is. Ride the trend. All right. What else we have? ARGX. Our this thing broke out of a base, ran up. This is like an ascending base, actually. Yeah, that's an ascending base where stock rises and then pulls back 10%, then rises, pulls back 10%. That's just all considered like a one base, right? The ascending base pattern, stage 1B, because you can see the base back here. Let's take a look at the weekly on this. This is an interesting chart right here. Consolidation for 28 weeks broke out 678. Now it's got this ascending base pattern making new highs. Pretty rare ascending base pattern for ARGX. ASMB, I have no idea what these guys do except make money for their shareholders. Making new highs today, broke out of this cup with handle pattern and surfing the moving averages. Assembly, thin stock, but it's super small, micro, less than 250 million, but making new highs. So I'm just pointing it out, folks. I can't be more clear here. I think the biotech one, I know people hate biotech because they, they have a tendency to crash and burn, but I'm showing you a ton of them. And this is one that broke out, gapped higher, and then you kind of went sideways for a while, ran up, made a new high, and then pulled back to the 50. What happened when it got to the 50? Found support. Now it's bounced the last couple of days, and it's up only 24% this week. That would look good in the portfolio. Wish I owned that one. And then even the pet medical supplies. Animal health stock is going higher. This is Elanco Animal Health. That one's doing great. Another one that I like a lot is the pediatric one. Pediatrics medical gapped up out of a base, and you can see why I like it. It, trades higher, allows the five to catch up. As soon as the five hits, boom, on Monday, it made another move higher. That's this day here. Pull back in the morning and then it's buying all day. Another pullback in the morning, trading higher and making new highs. So yeah, I like new highs, and I like ESTA. Another one. This is the silicon. Um, Body shaping implant stock up another percent today. My goodness. Could not take out yesterday's high of 69. Nope, 68, 86. So I just, strong stock, allowing the five to catch up, I guess, having an inside day today. All right. I think that's it. Nope, I got more of them. Oh my gosh. How many of these do I have? VRDN. Did I show you this one? I probably did. I'm getting lost now. So many of them. I showed you at least 25 biotech stocks here. These ones close to making new highs, out of bases, surfing moving averages that pulled back here, ran up, pulled back to the five, found support, bounced the last 2 days. This is Castle Biosciences at 1 billion market cap. Yeah, it's up 6% this week. We'll take that. There's your 1 billion market cap. Shares in the float, 27 million. I always say, there's supply and demand, buyers and sellers, and support and resistance. And you can see where it's finding support there. All right. That's enough. That's enough of the drugs, right? Yeah, okay. Gold. If I could figure out how to implement music in these Zoom videos, I'd play Huey Lewis. I want a new drug, but I don't know how to do that because I haven't looked into it. Somebody out smarter than me could do it for sure. Barrick Mining, the gold stocks looking good. I'd consider this just a base right here. Yeah, it pulled back to its 50, found support and bounced, but at 36.10 there. That's kind of your trigger. I think it hit right about 36 today. 36.40, 36.10. There's your box right there. And if it breaks out of the box, what's in the box? Barrick Mining is still in the box. 35.99. Yeah, it hit 36 today. So I'd say 36.10 is your trigger. It's just a little, tad extended from the five here. 4.7% for my liking. But, the way gold's going, this is likely to make new highs here real soon. AU was another one, kind of similar, 79.94, call it $80. And it's just got this, pull back to the 50. But for me, I want it above $80 now. I think there's a little more insurance and wait for that, moment to happen because it's still in the box there at 79.35. Could certainly, blast out of there tomorrow. It could also go sideways and wait for that 50 to catch up or just pull back to the five. So those are looking super strong. NEM is the biggest one in this group. Now, market cap wise, it's a tick below 100 billion. Same kind of deal though. Pull back to the 50, found support now, bouncing higher. So these ones are looking pretty good to these old eyes. Harmony, yeah, just a pullback. So you got to brace these pullback. I don't think the run for gold is over. So watch those. Once again, you're gonna have to get your pencils out and write these ticker symbols down because I'm going through the oil and gas stocks, and gosh darn it, they're looking good. I hate to say it, but they do. I know the price of oil is way low, and there's a glut. OPEC has flooded the market for 26, but I'm just looking technically at these stocks. Sandridge Energy making new highs today. Hello. When stocks start making new highs, you got to take notice in this group. This thing's already climbed up to the oil refining is at 33 already. Wow. And this is DK Delek. I don't know. US Holdings. Anyway, it was upgraded today. Just looks like it had a double inside day here, huh? Friday had a big bar inside on Monday, inside on Tuesday as it pulls back to the five. Look out for that one tomorrow. All right. That's a refining stock. I got the uh, CRK, the exploration name. I kind of like this one too. Look at the big blue volume bars here, man. That's not Aunt Sally buying this one. Somebody wants in Comstock Resources. Looks pretty good to me. That 2209 was the trigger. I missed it, but these things look good. VLO, this is kind of a bigger, slower name. Pays a big dividend. Been talking about this one for a little bit. I like how it traded tight within the base. Now moving out of the 178.43 trigger area. Volume's not, nothing to write home about, but you got to look at the weekly here. This is a really slow mover. There's your consolidation pattern here for Valero. These ones are looking good. Another one in this group is PARR. This moving higher. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of these oil and gas stocks that look fantastic to me. EQT, I like this one. It's got a combination of oil and gas. You can see the consolidation here. It's kind of moved up quickly off its lows off the bottom here. So I would expect a little bit, a couple of days of selling, allowing that five to catch up. But EQT looks fantastic to me. GPOR, GPOR, not Portland. I don't want utility, Portland Utilities. Gulfport Energy, this is another exploration name. Less than 4 billion market cap. And you can see this consolidation pattern. We know that those tend to be, when they break out, they have been very successful over time. So LB is another one. And just in any one of these, to give me any one of these. This one's been on fire. Look at this consolidation pattern below the 200, and then boom, last 4 or 5 sessions. Nice moves there for Land Bridge. Let's see what this one was up last week. A big move, yeah, 17% last week. Tack on another 24 in 2 days this week. Yeah, this is not to be ignored. DTM. DT Midstream, the transportation pipeline name, consolidating in a base. I had an inside day today, pulling back, allowing that 5 to catch up. These are looking juicy. And then PSX, of course, everybody knows Phillips, the Warren Buffett holding, consolidating in a cup and handle pattern. It was up 1.5% today. Yeah, so those are looking good. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to say that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. However, in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have a couple more things here. I got to get to the retail. I haven't talked about retail in a long, long time. This is real, real. My wife used to work for these folks, nice people. But it's kind of a fashion thing. I asked her about it, and I thought it was like, for low end, but it's not. And fashion, I'm out of my element here with fashion, but pulled back to the 50, popped on earnings. They raised forward guidance here. And so that's the reason for the 38% pop in the real. This thing not long ago was like, I want to say it was down here like a buck. Yeah, this thing was really hurting not long ago. Last year was a buck, or earlier this year, 9 to 15. So it's been a double this year, not bad. And even recently it was 5 bucks. It's been a 5 to 15. We'll take that, right? A three bagger. Yes, sir. We'll take that. EMPG. Have no idea what they're doing. EMPG. You ever heard of them? Malaysia headquarters. Perfume. We know that Christmas is coming. Maybe people are buying perfume, but this is a recent IPO, and wow, it's really done well. I got to go to the daily chart here. There's the IPO of Ford. It's just been rallying and rallying. Now here it is at 17, consolidating within a base finally. But EMPG, yeah, I put that one on my radar with the fundamentals and the technicals. But yeah, I guess I don't know. They sell perfume, cosmetics. All right, and then the other one is CTRN. This is more of your traditional retail apparel and shoes company. Yeah, it just consolidated in a base, formed a cup with handle pattern, and now it's making new highs. So retail, a couple retail stocks showing life. And of course, the jewelers, Signet was upgraded, and this one looks pretty strong here. Pull back to the 50. Now it's bouncing higher. Christmas is coming. Buy your significant other some jewelry, right? You can never go wrong doing that. And the last thing is earnings tonight. If you want to call it earnings, loosely call it earnings. Oklo. I gotta say, Oklo, it was a real strong stock, leader in the group, one of the top performing names of this 2025, but it sold off, and I'm all for it. I'm one of these fundamental guys. If you don't have sales and earnings growth, you shouldn't have, 15 billion market cap, but you just got to play the market that you have and not the one that you want. But for me, if they want to shut down all of these speculative names like the quantum names, Rigetti and all that junk with no sales and no earnings, with 15 billion market cap. This is a little silly, but I got to admit, I traded this one for a long time and in and out, and it did well for me. But I always knew in the back of my mind this thing has no fundamentals to stand on. Now it's sliced the 50 after hours. It's down 1%. I have no idea what they said. All they're going on is future contracts with companies, and they're going to provide energy down the road. So when they have some sales and earnings, maybe they'll get rewarded again. But below the 50, maybe taking a trip to the 200 LP. This is LightPath Telecom Fiber Optics. This group has been strong. Hello, the number one group. This one pulled back to its 50 prior to the earnings, up nearly 6% after hours. I'll look at that one before the morning. Super small, 350 million market cap. Anyway, at least it has some sales. Tomorrow morning, we hear from Circle. Not holding out great hope for Circle. Now it's down below 100. Okay. And then On Holdings, once again, a retailer that's just been murdered, like with the rest of them. Stage 4 decline. After, your stage 1, we'll do the old Weinstein song and dance here. Stage 1. Stage 2 is the ascension. Stage 3, they can't proceed any higher. They form a little base. Look like they're going to move higher. Then they do the old okey doke, fake you out, start a stage 4 decline. And it'll come down here and start, stage 1 base and then move higher in stage 2. Retail's not going to be dead forever, but it is dead now. And then Global Foundries reports in the morning, obviously, in a stage 4 decline. Speaking of stage 4 declines, maybe, this could be a stage 1 base and it could start a stage 2 uptrend soon. So, anyway, always keep an open mind and be flexible. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.